Steve, class starting in 2 minutes. So, Steve, class S starting in 2 minutes. Why are you late? I saw Timmy Pond 6:30. What it? Mpacho, Kobo home by. I saw Pond by 6:30. What you say? Because yes, I'm not being a fight. Bipa won't be that. Right. So we got our first guess. They are the note takers. So we will admit them. Okay. Mommy, I'm starting a class 7 o'clock. Ghana Airways. We are always on time. Great. So we can get started. On my screen, I am displaying the latest and greatest deploy script. This deploy script allows us to monitor the agentic deploy being done on the server directly. It was triggered using Bitbucket. So we have a Bitbucket pipeline created specifically to help us deploy 111 AI applications. So we're using Bitbucket to trigger the process by going to our repositories, AUCDT utilities, pipelines, and this was the last pipeline run 26 minutes ago. And essentially we click on run pipeline, select main, select a pipeline, which is deploy all of the fleet applications, and then we click on run. And this triggers the installation of 111 applications. Claude had a good time calling it launch the greedy fleet refresh. So I'll make this mark. So we just got started, and I was showing our latest and greatest deployment script that is triggered from Bitbucket, and it allows us to deploy 111 applications directly on the server without my laptop being tied up to do all of that work. So let me admit Professor. All right. So we have an interesting task this evening. And what I asked Professor Ajimani to do was to share with me some of his slides. And he shared with me a PowerPoint slide. And I looked at the PowerPoint slide and I went, oh my God, this looks just like an IEEE SRS document. So I gave the document. It says press the escape key to cancel opening this document. I'm going to open it. It's at 81%. It's a big file. So while it's opening, what I did was I gave it to Claude. I gave it to Claude. What does it mean to give something to Claude? I clicked on plus and selected the two PowerPoint files, E&M 2016, SNF 2016, both 1101, 1101, 1344, 1344, 56, so two PowerPoints. So my prompt to Claude was, I need to regenerate this PowerPoint into an agentic application. I need to regenerate this PowerPoint into an agentic application. And it came back and it said, oh, these are two huge biochemistry lecture decks. One is 697 pages, slides, and the other is 773 slides. E&M stands for enzymes and metabolism, and SNF stands for structure and function. So the agent came back and said, what should the agentic application do? And I said, best in class. I abused this a lot. I said, best in class. The author is now a retired professor. And I said, should I, and it asked, should I build this directly as a working application now, or produce a Claude code ready directive doc, your usual 6-hour workflow? So I said, build it now. So it proceeded to build it. And it goes, by the way, do you want one combined application for both decks or two separate apps? When an AI agent gives me two options, I always give it, you make the choice. Best practice preferred. So he came back and he said, great. The two slides combined is 1,470 slides. That's inhuman. But he says, I'm going to rebuild Dr. Ajimani's lecture archives with it. He's going to call it the Biochemistry Study Companion. And he proceeded to say, I'm calling it he, but it parsed the real title placeholders and not just the first line guesses into 760 clean topic sections. And then group them into 10 units per course so that you could search across all of it. And then it did a self-test mode where it posed the original discussion questions Dr. Gemini wrote into the decks and lets the student type a free text answer and grades it live against the actual source material via a Claude API call. And then it created an AI tutor drawer and then a reaction coordinate progress. And then it gave me the file. and it says download the file. So I downloaded the file, and this is what I got. The Gemini archives. And it's easy for somebody who has never been to his classes to come in here and simply select next topic. And it puts you through the organizational biochemistry. Now, what you don't see is there's a visual diagram that's supposed to go with all of this. And it introduces biochemistry. So all of the visual diagrams are missing. So in this class, in this special master class, we are going to figure out how to take the original PowerPoint slides and all the illustrations like these ones. We want to be able to capture and redraw it. This was drawn in 2016. So that's almost 10 years ago. What do I mean by that? So I'm going to click print screen, and I'm going to take a screenshot of this diagram. And my favorite friend for drawing things like this is now meta.ai. So I will go to meta.ai. Navigate to meta.ai in my browser. And I'm just going to paste this image. So I've pasted the image. And I'm going to ask Meta to describe the image using JS4. So this is just one diagram in a 1,400 plus slide. We're going to use agentic methodology to process all of these slides. So it came back and said, oh, this particular slide, if I was to draw it, this would be the description of the slide. So I can copy and I can give it back and say generate, paste the description that Meta gave me of the diagram. And this kind of like a clue to what a diagram drawn in 2016 looks like and what a diagram using agentic technology looks like. So this is concepts and relationships in biochemistry, structure and function of biomolecules, talks to biochemistry, and biochemistry talks to reactions of biomolecules and the metabolism associated with it. So let's see the new diagram. So now it's come back. It's drawing the diagram, and this is the diagram he gave us. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So now I'm going to say this diagram was created in 2016. UDA plus 6R audit. So if you've been coming to these master classes, UDA is observe, orient, decide, and act. It's a military thing, how you fight your enemy. And then 6R audit is a way to review a document so that it will end up regenerating directives for you to make it better. So it's come back with the UDA audit. It says, yes, this is a vertical flow diagram, and it talks about structure and function of biomolecules, and it's page 7. Let's orient ourselves. This was done in 2016 versus 2026. In 2016, this was a standard introduction slide logic. What is biochemistry? Equals what biomolecules are and what they do, it works for chapter 1. 10 years later, the gaps are more visible. So there's no mention of information flow systems or regulation. Bidirectional arrows imply equal weight, but modern curriculum puts structure goes to function to metabolism as more causal. And then it's missing the 2016 to 2026 shifts. Oh my God, I didn't know there has been a shift. There's something called structural biology, metabolomics, never heard of that, and then integration with genetics. Great, so now we've learned something from the UDA audit. Then decide, does it still hold? The core concept is still accurate, but pedagogically, it is slightly weak for 2026. It fails to answer why structure matters and how metabolism is regulated. So act. Here's a recommendation. Check. Does it teach what matters today? Revise. Is it scientifically accurate? Yes, but oversimplified. And this was intentional by the prof. You know, he wanted people to understand biochemistry from a very low level. But so agent agrees, let's retain the definition, but let's change the arrows. So now it's come back with a different skeleton, and I'm going to say, do you want me to regenerate that version 2? And I'm going to say absolutely. So this is all preparation for the real big work, which is 1,400 pages. So this is just prep work. It's like buying things you're going to be using to cook with. So onions, tomatoes, salt, spoon, pots, all of those utensils you need to cook. So this is just a way of me illustrating how you can use AI to improve a diagram generated in 2016 and updated in 2026. So what the 2026 diagram, the AI is suggesting that it should look like. So you have structure and function. In there are the proteins, nucleic acids, lipids, carbohydrates. And biochemistry is the chemistry, information, energy of life. So this is a nice slide to use to explain biochemistry, metabolism, and bioenergetics. Oh my God, for somebody new to biochemistry, this is completely confusing. It's too much detail. But this is just, a starting point for it. And you notice there's a little icon here that says save. It's coming from a plugin I've installed in my browser from CapCut. So any image I see, I can click on save, and it saves it to CapCut Design Studio. Great. So I'm going to complain and say, simplify this diagram for primary school, then secondary school, then college, then professional. No, then PhD, postdoc, and professional. So I'm greedy. And I asked the agent the other day, I'm greedy. He goes, greed is good. So when you're working with an agent, it's good to be greedy. A lot of people are happy with just the first thing they get. Oh, I got a great diagram. But I'm greedy. So I asked that. It gave me 6 simplified versions of the biochemistry diagram. This is very powerful, to be able to ask an agent that, you've drawn a diagram, is great, I like it, it's better than 2016. Maybe it's not better, but it's different. But I want to see you simplify it for primary school, secondary school. So this is what we call agentic. This is agentic in the sense that we are not typing 6 prompts to get 6 diagrams. Rather, we are typing one directive or one instruction, or another word for it is one prompt. And that prompt picks off agentic engineers. 6 sub-agents were created to do this work. So while it's crunching through the diagrams, I will show you a little prep work that I did earlier on. I took the same document and gave it to AI Studio. And AI Studio created this version of the application. And I went, I can't really see this very well. So this is what AI Studio took the Gemini archive and created for me. Oh my God. Oh my God. So Prof has done a lot of work, and the AI respected that and created a respectable study notes application. So now we are up to 2 applications. The first application is the HTML version, which lets us, go through. It doesn't have any of the images, but it has all of the text. And our goal is to get all of the diagrams in as well. So this was the first pass with using AI Studio to parse the PowerPoint slides. And what I did was I gave AI Studio the HTML. So since AI Studio will not accept the PowerPoint, I provided this HTML. And this HTML generated this application. It's a very deep application. It has 1,400 pages of slides converted into an AI application. And it has a lot of stuff that makes it look a little bit busy and it's kind of confusing, but it's a start. And later we'll take this, give it to another agent and ask the agent, what do you think? So this is to show you that I went from a PowerPoint to an HTML with other images, and then use the HTML to generate a biochemistry study component. And all of this was done without writing a single line of computer code. It was all from the PowerPoint. So if you have an old PowerPoint, I encourage you to use this technique. Take the PowerPoint, figure out how to convert it to HTML. I use Claude to do that. So I asked Claude, do it for me, and Claude did it. And Claude said, you use 90%. So I stopped at the 90%. So Claude generated the HTML for me. So I'm going to play a game with Claude. I'm going to say, thank you for the HTML. We lost all of the rich illustrations. I'm playing the devil's advocate. We lost all of the rich illustrations. So now Claude is going to think about it and say, let me identify all the missing visual elements and devise an extraction strategy. Oh, is there Mr. Joe? You need to upgrade if you want to keep chatting. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to spend any more money. So I will come to a Claude that I'm actually paying for. So this is Claude that you subscribe to. And it's busy doing something, but I'm also going to give it 2 PDFs, 2 PowerPoints. So first I'm going to select the biochem companion, and then I'm going to select the PowerPoint. So I'm selecting the HTML and the PowerPoint. Open. And I'm greedy when it comes to AI. So the next greedy thing I'm going to do is, since AI Studio has built this, and I respect what it did here because it's 44 sections and it goes on and on and on and on, and has a lot of detail, and you can click and go all the way into all the details. It's just detail, detail, detail. So this is good stuff. So I'm going to take that as well by clicking on Code, Export, Download as a zip file. Now I have a zip file. I'm going to add it to my Claude package. So I'm going to click plus, add the final zip file, zip, biochemistry study companion. And then I'm going to say onboard as a companion to biochem AI. Why biochem AI? Because biochem AI is another application we had built using this technique. So if we're going to do another biochemistry, why reinvent the wheel? Why not combine these two items together? So that is the request I'm providing to the agent. So while it's doing that, nothing is committed. Resume the session. It is started Claude Code. The machine seems to not want to talk to me. It's because one of the zip files was huge and Claude is refusing to attach it. So it accepted the HTML and accepted the zip file, but rejected the PowerPoint. I'm greedy. So I'm going to turn the PowerPoint into PDF, because a PDF is definitely smaller. So this is punishing, because if you ask an agent to open a 1,400-page slide, it struggles. And even Microsoft is struggling to open the PowerPoint, but we're going to open it. And we're going to save it as a PDF, then give it back to the agent. It's a big file. How big is the file? It's actually only 9 megabytes, but it's a PowerPoint. So now we have it open. We can say File, Print, and it's ready. Microsoft Print to PDF. So print. And since it was the SNF, we'll call it the SNF PowerPoint .pdf. So that way you know that it was a PowerPoint that got turned into a PDF. Save it. And you can now open the second one as well. Open. So that was SNF. We'll go to easy finish printing. Okay, just a minute. PowerPoint needs to finish printing. Okay, finish printing. I gotta wait for it. So our second guy was E&M. So we'll double click on E&M. Don't feel guilty for the agent that you're about to give it 1,400 pages. They like work. It's so far going to 82%, so I have to wait for it. Meanwhile, hey, so this is the organization of biochemistry, biochemical energy, metabolism, carbohydrate metabolism, lipid metabolism, protein. This is deep metabolism stuff. So enable editing. So it's cranking away, opening the file, and yes. And now can I do file print this one also? File print. Microsoft print to PDF. Print. So this particular slide is 697 pages. Oh my God, Prof, how did you do this in 2016? This was not easy. So now let's see if we refresh our file manager. Today at 6:05. I see the PDF. I see the first PDF. It's not done yet. Date modified. PDF is still not done writing. Wow. That's a big file. We'll be patient because it's 697 pages. Great. So this gentleman here says what we want to do with this. Do we want to create a biochem companion, a shorter biochem study, or do we want biochem AI companion? Again, when it gives us options like this, we say we want best practice preferred. Slugs like Nike, short and punchy. So every time the agent gives me choices, I like all of them. Biochem companion is clear, it's recommended. That's what he's recommending. So I'm saying best practice preferred. I like short things like Nike. Next. It goes, okay. One PDF is ready. So I can upload this PDF. Let's see. No. Do I want to replace this? Yes, the PDF. I need to be careful because there's all these PowerPoint things here. So if I do star.ppt X E name of the file, to be sure, it's E and M. So we want to do E and M. E and M. Dot pt.pdf. Great. So now we have two PDFs. Since you can't save the file here, why? Downloads. Save. Okay. So now the administration panel currently uses hard-code passwords, which I won't share. How should it be gated? We want to drop the admin panel completely. Great, we'll do that. This app has a server.ts, so it needs a flip port assigned from free list now. So all AI agent applications need to be able to use what is called an API key to communicate to the AI model. So to talk to an AI model, you're actually indirectly using an API key that you don't see, but because you logged in into Gemini, or you logged in into ChatGPT, or you logged in into Claude, it transfers your, or it sends your API key with your request. So every request you make is assigned to you and you only. When you use too much of it, they tell you you've run out of credits. So that's how they know you are using credits. There's a key associated with all of your activity. So that is what is behind the scenes happening. So right now we are watching Claude proceed to onboard the zip file and the companion. But since I'm greedy, I'm going to click plus, add files, and I'm going to include the big PDFs that we have just created. So I'm going to include the SNM first and push that, because it wouldn't accept the PowerPoint file, the whole 9 megabytes, but it will accept the PDF. So now it's found the highest port to use, port 3086. So the next free port will be 3087. Now it's copied the source into the repo BioBench directory. I think he's going to call it BioBench. Is it going to call it BioBench, 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 BioBench? Yes, he decided he's going to call it BioBench because chemistry in the lab tables are called benches. So BioBench. Short, punchy on team. Again, it refused the attached PDF. Oh my God, what are we gonna do? They think that that Microsoft document, it just doesn't want to read it. Not an issue. Oh, sorry, we have to finish printing. So we printed that document, but Claude doesn't like the PDF. It's okay. We have our friend here, the biochemistry study companion. We can ask him if he can handle our PDF. So we're gonna give that PDF to him. It's 14 megabytes. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why. 14 megabytes. A lot of applications want to limit you to 10 megabytes, and this is now 14 megabytes. So maybe one way would be figure a way to split the PDF into smaller chunks. So the person who can do that would be a Microsoft application. So a Microsoft application like Copilot. So we're going to check if Copilot is nice to us. So Copilot is here. I'm going to click plus, add files. Oh, this is cool. Copilot is so smart that it sees these two files here. So I can click on that, click on that. And now it's uploading those two PDFs. So Copilot had no problem with the two PDFs. Well, I shouldn't say that. This first PDF, E&M, when we looked on it on the file system, date modified, E&M, it's only 5, and SNF is 14. So it's taking both of them. And I'm going to say, convert this into a single. Well, I want to do that. I have the two information. I am having a hard time getting this into an agentic application created with React. Build best in class and give me the zip file of the project. So I like to be brutally honest when I'm working with an agent. I try not to be too smart. I kind of know what I want, but I'll pretend that I don't know what I want and let the agent drive it. So he says, I got it. You want a best-in-class React agentic application packaged as a ready-to-use project? Since I can't directly hand you a zip file, I will instead give you a complete scaffold with code you can copy into your environment and zip yourself. So for those people who love Copilot so much, notice that Copilot fails to hand me a zip file, which AI Studio can do easily. So this to me is ancient. He wants me to copy, paste, copy this, 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 paste. And I'm going to tell it that you are not being agentic. And he goes, you are right. What I gave you was more of a scaffold than an agentic application. Let's shift gears and make this truly agentic. So now it starts to do something else. So anyway, this can go on and on and on and on. And I'm still going to tell it that I am human. I am expecting the agent to use its magic to give me a zip file. All the other agents do this in a heartbeat. So one of the attendees of this class was saying that, oh, why do you always go and use Claude? It's because of this. It's asking me, the human, to go and copy all these files and go and paste into a folder. It's like all of this. I'm going to tell it that no way. No way. Tell your developers to learn to package responses as a zip file. I get your frustration, Daniel. It feels like magic when an agent just hands you a zip file. Right now, I don't have that ability. I can give you the entire scaffold and then you can go do this. Sorry, I am taking my business elsewhere. So that was a little challenge that I have with Copilot. It just is not up to standard. So now it's coming back and giving me all of this. If you want the magic of a zip file, the closest I can get is to generate a script that builds a project file and does everything for you. Great. Great, I can do that. But let me try. So it's giving me a script to go run. So I'm saying, why can't he run the script? So I'm going to say Claude is able to run the script in the cloud container and provide the zip results. So I'm trying to train the agent right now. Generate the full script, run it in your container, and hand me the zip. I will let the whole world know Copilot is for real. Microsoft is going to kill me for this because I don't have the ability to spin up a container, run scripts, and hand you back a zip. Claude and some other agents may simulate that workflow differently, but here in Copilot, I can only deliver scaffolds and scripts. Yeesh, yeesh. So he's giving me this long script. So I'll copy the script. And then I'll come to my computer. Click plus, Control plus, make the font bigger. And then paste the script. So instead of Copilot doing all of this in the cloud for me and giving me the result, it's giving me a script, which is fair. So I'm going to run the script. He didn't want to use his electricity and power to build the app for me, but I'm okay with it. So now as we're running npx, create a React application, and the React application is going to be created and it will support TypeScript. So be patient and let him do his thing. Meanwhile, agentic engineering says, go check what is happening on the other side. On the other side, he says he's done a lot of work. He's created 23 files and he's committing them. So this is what Claude does that our friend Copilot cannot do. It is building the application in the cloud for us. It spent 20 minutes in that. And I think now he says it's done. It's just done. So I can click on 237. And as that the agent create work on in the Copilot has given me work, so I have to wait for the work to be done. So now I'll go check what's happening with my pull request number 237. And we've been doing this class. The agent is deploying and testing the fleet applications and recording all the ones that are failing and the ones that are passing. And it's now on application number 36, which is the director's card. Great. So here's the BioBench pull request description. Now, this is magic. He created this for the application. Claude created this pull request for. It did all the work, and then, like a good student, reported what they did. So it on HTML file and a zip file as a standard or source to flee in a directory or 30. All of this is what the use application created with all of these things. I discovered rules and patterns. AI application it exactly done. I'm going I reviewed it. So all of this is happening on in the cloud server called GitHub. Developer.